If my light is shining too bright, put your sunglasses
You
on.
better.
You got to come out of hiding, honey. And you have to let the world, there are thousands of people who need your story. My message is always about self-love. So you have to become conscious about your unconscious patterns. Be curious enough to say, there are things that I don't know. Some people would rather deal with the pain and suffering that they know
Of the known, yes.
than to go into the unknown to get rid of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I am in control
Correct.
of my life. Everything begins and ends with self-love. I am grateful, I'm filled with gratitude, and I am filled with fulfillment.
Welcome to the electrifying world of Anne-Marie's Impact. I am Anne-Marie Emmanuel, and nothing excites me more than having thrilling and unfiltered discussions with real people who are fueled by the unstoppable force of passion. Get ready to elevate and dominate your life, both personally and professionally, through the power of self-love. Come along with me on this transformative journey as we move from inner lack to inner lush together.
Rising Up with Lisa Nichols. But before we get there, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed an honor to introduce you to our guests for today. None other than the emphatic Anne-Marie Emmanuel. She's a Trinidadian American of multifaceted talents. She's a certified relationship and self-love coach, renowned author of 3 best-selling titles, and the visionary CEO of Passion Kairos, a thriving wellness and empowerment community dedicated to helping individuals live passionately and purposefully. As the host of Anne-Marie's web show, she showcases inspiring interviews with individuals who've defied incredible odds to transform from survival mode to the grandest vision of their lives through the power of self-love. I am Caron Greaves. I'm an HR ecologist, an educator, and a positive woman's advocate. But enough about me. This is about celebrating Anne-Marie. And today, the pleasure is all mine to interview my friend, to interview this powerhouse, this lady who has taken on the reins of preparing herself and others to engage in self-love. And on this journey, she is launching an upcoming book titled Rise Up, a book she recently co-authored with none other than Lisa Nichols. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi, Caron.
How
Wow.
are you today? You look radiant.
Thank you so much. I am doing well. I am really, really doing well. And after hearing that introduction, yes.
Now, let me tell you, all through, and listen, if I had to go on, we could just fill the segment with all of the flowers that Anne-Marie has so truly earned. But before we get there, best-selling author of 3 titles, Anne-Marie, this is to be celebrated. Amazon has recognized you in the best-selling category in women's studies, women's personal spiritual growth, and women's international spirituality. Inspirational spirituality. She's international, but this is inspirational spirituality. And I have no doubt that this title, Rise Up, will be your next bestseller. How do you accomplish this?
Wow. Well, sometimes I feel like it's hard for me to take credit for all of this that's happening because sometimes I myself wonder, whoa, how did I get here? But Karen, I have to say it is a direct result of me actually living a life of passion and purpose and really being obedient to the callings, all the callings that the universe has put in front of me. Whether, it's saying yes to my career change and coming to Trinidad, saying yes to the certification training for self-love, saying yes to the Speak and Write conference with Lisa Nichols, and then of course all the books, as the download came to me, I followed. I was like, okay, I'm going to write another book. Okay, right? And then we have the web TV show and the women's retreats. Yes. So I would say all of those things became, I see it as stepping stones. Each time that I got a download to do something and I push through and I be obedient to the calling and I accomplish it, it was a stepping stone for the next thing to come. And basically here I am, co-authoring a book with Lisa Nichols.
With Lisa Nichols, stepping into your brilliance indeed.
Yeah.
Now, share with us, coming to work with Lisa Nichols, how did that come about? And tell us about the favorite titles, speeches, or quotes that you like from Lisa, and tell us why.
Okay, coming to work with Lisa Nichols, I distinctly remember waking up one morning, and I always go to YouTube when I'm ready to meditate or do my breathing exercises. And you know how YouTube has a way of just popping up certain things, right? And so I want to go back a little bit. The journey that I've been on, once I got to that place of living from that space of self-love, everything that I need to do comes to me. Everyone that I need to meet comes to me. So this was a perfect example of Lisa Nichols popping up on my YouTube screen, and she was doing a motivational talk. And oh my God, I don't need to tell you because you know what this woman is.
Yes.
I mean, she can motivate the hell box out of you, you know that,
Absolutely.
right? So I was so blown away. I had forgotten who she was because I did read The Secret. And so I was like, who is this woman? And every time I was I'm like, you're supposed to be meditating, so,
yes, to be
move
present
past
in
it.
the
I
moment.
just couldn't. So I listened all the way, and then at the end of that talk, there was an offer to do the Speak and Write conference in Atlanta. And I was like, oh my gosh. But then I realized that the time, it was November 4th, 2017. And I was supposed to be in Florida during that time. So I was like, I absolutely have to go to this, right? Not even thinking in terms of wanting to speak or write, but just to be in the space with this dynamic woman.
Yes.
And I just signed up that same day for it. So went to that, and of course, you know what that Speak and Write conference is like. What a powerhouse, and what, and the people that are there, the energy.
Yeah.
So it's basically like you can be on a plethora of emotions in one moment. Like 1 minute you're up there, yes, and the next minute you're like down, crying tears of joy or release, or getting your baggages off.
That's right. That's right.
That's what that conference is like. It's like therapy. So I after that, in that one, I signed up for the Business Academy coaching with Lisa Nichols.
Right.
And the rest is history. So that's how we came to work together. What was the other question? A favorite quote?
Favorite quotes, speeches,
My
or
favorite quote,
titles from her.
and it's because it resonates so well with me, is when she says, if you, let me see if I remember how it goes. If my light is shining too bright, put your sunglasses
You
on.
better put some
Hello.
shades on. I remember that. Yes.
And that resonated so well with me because up until that time, I found that I was always dimming my light. I didn't realize that's what I was doing,
Yeah.
but I was, you are around certain people and sometimes they're stagnant, sometimes they're negative.
Yes.
And I always felt like I needed to dim down a little bit so that I can fit into groups or whatever.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that Lisa taught me I don't have to do that. I don't
Correct.
have to do that,
Correct.
Let my light shine, and who kind of deal with it?
Put on some shades. Because you've got to illuminate the parts so that you can see where you're going.
Exactly.
And others can feel inspired to follow on.
Right.
Talking about her favorite quotes, one of the ones for me, because we have some fun stuff to share with you all in a bit about Lisa Nichols and our
Yes.
relationship. One of the fun ones for me is you are not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yana.
Yeah, that's right. So let's get back to the moment. Rise up. Now, this title promises to fuel readers' inner fire with stirring tales of courage and unwavering commitment. So, what made you say yes to this extraordinary experience?
Oh my
and
gosh,
opportunity?
Karen, who can not say
Who can
yes
say no?
to Lisa Nichols? Who can not say yes to her once you are in her space and you understand who she is and the powerhouse that she is? But I have a nice story about that because I remember, I think that was last September, and I was in a meditation and I was meditating and seeking to answer the question, what do I desire? So I just kept in the stillness, what do I desire? Because I was just coming off the heels of the book tour and all that excitement. So I'm like, what do I desire now? Where am I going now? And I distinctively remembered envisioning being with Lisa Nichols and people like Michael Beckwith and all of them and saying, yeah, I desire to be on that level. I desire to collaborate with these people. That's, in other words, that's what's missing for me right now, And I kid you not, the very next day, I got the invitation email to participate in this book with all these magnificent women. So yeah, that's the inspiration right there. I just knew I had to say yes again.
Yes, Anne-Marie. What you're saying there, Lisa's authenticity that allows us that space to be, to grow,
Yes.
brings me nicely into the gladiator stories. Now, we have a gladiator story in common.
Yes.
So you share, and I'll chime in from time to time on it.
Yeah, so I remember, Caron, we ran into each other. But, we've known each other since the inception of Shift Caribbean.
Correct, yes.
And we've been working and supporting each other. But we ran into each other in the airport, right? Remember?
Correct.
And we
yes.
were on the security line. And we were so excited to see each other. And I thought you were going somewhere and I was going somewhere else. And that's when we realized that we both were on the United flight, right? And then I said, oh, okay. And then I think I said, so where are you going? And you said, I'm going to San Diego. And I'm like, I'm going to San Diego.
And then we both in unison said,
yeah.
Lisa Nichols conference?
Yeah, yeah, because I was like, I think you asked, what are you going to San Diego for? And I said, because I was going for the business academy. So I said, I'm doing this business course. And then you said, I'm going for a conference. And we both looked at each other.
Yes.
And we said, is it Lisa Nichols conference? It turned out it was the same conference.
That was such a beautiful moment.
It was a beautiful moment. And I mean, when we got there, it was so nice for us to support each other while we were there. Yes. Like I kind of knew what to expect because I was there the year before. And it was a pleasure just helping you through it.
Yes.
And taking pictures together with Lisa Nichols. And do you remember the party?
I
I think that year
remember.
was Wakanda.
It was
theme.
Wakanda Forever theme.
Wakanda Forever, yes. So we
I
have some
remember.
beautiful pictures
We did.
from that. Yes.
And I'm trying to remember. I'm sure I would have said thank you, but now let me make sure that we get that in our archives. Thank you for helping myself and my girlfriends situate ourselves to get the best out of that conference. And you are
Yes.
right, it was
Yes.
life-changing.
Yes.
So, lovely segue into how Lisa impacts our lives. Share with us a little bit about how Lisa impacts your life.
Well, after Lisa's conference, the first thing that I learned from Lisa was that I need to come out of hiding. Because here I was in Las Cuevas doing my little coaching thing, and hardly anyone knew about me. I didn't have a website. I wasn't really sharing everything was word of mouth. And then Lisa was like, you got to come out of hiding, honey. And you have to let the world, there are thousands of people who need your story. And that was the first time that I realized that how important sharing my story was. Because I never really, that's why I wasn't even interested in the speaking and the writing part of it, because I'm like, who wants to hear my story? You know, so I became present to how important my story was. So out of that, I started Passion Kairos, my business. I did my website. I started doing speaking engagements, workshops, and really catering, coaching, right, the coaching program, all of that came out of that conference, and catering to an international community.
Yes.
Yeah, because again, I was like thinking that I got to be in this little circle right here, you know? So, yes.
So, Anne-Marie, we have a few things in common.
Yes.
One would be we have both authored books, and they've been released to the world.
Right.
As Lisa Nichols would always say, play full out.
Yes.
And you've been doing that. And in this opportunity you have with Lisa Nichols, you're co-authoring Rise Up. So what are some of the benefits of co-authoring?
Well, Caron, I am new to this author collaboration thing, but I know you know exactly because of your book, Resilient Women,
Yes.
and where you co-authored, right? So I am pretty sure that you will resonate with the fact that you get a sense of connection, right? You get a sense of support, you know, having people support you with your book signings and just whatever it is that needs to be done around the launch of a book.
Correct.
And that sense of really having a community
Yes,
of
sisterhood.
like-minded, a sisterhood of like-minded individuals and powerful individuals
Correct.
around the world, you know. So I am now experiencing that, which you probably would know how it really feels. So it's all exciting for me because just the first conference we had in Utah the other day, was some of the authors were there. And the bonding that took place with us,
lovely.
the rich bonding and finding out about other people's stories and so on. It's just amazing. And I can't wait because the book hasn't been launched yet, so I don't know most of the stories in the book. So that's the first thing I'm going to be doing is
lovely.
reading everybody's stories and supporting them in whichever way I can. So yeah, I feel so honored to be part of this community. And the thing with this book is it's the first one, and she had one coming right on the heels of this one. I think it's called Against All Odds. So it's a first book and a second book. And I am in the first book.
Yes, Anne-Marie. One of the things that I think you will enjoy immensely is that system that's created for you to win as a
Yeah.
co-author. You know, there are some things that, yes, you can go on AI and it will give you an outline of the things that you should do.
Right.
But living through the experiences of those who've gone before, standing on those shoulders,
Right.
there are little hacks that they can give you. And we will have offline conversations of what worked well for me. I mean, we
Right.
started already when I came and
Right.
I gave you the mishap of the books not reaching in time for the launch.
Right, exactly.
And how I
and that's
worked
one of the
around.
things that I am, because my books are going to Florida. And
Yes.
I'm here when it launches. So now I have to be shipping books all over, because when I leave here, I'm going to the New York, New Jersey area. So
Right.
I've already told my sister, you're going to have to ship some books up there for me.
Yes.
So yeah. And then, just planning launch parties, getting together with others. We formed a Facebook community and we are talking about, collaborating on launch parties. That alone in itself is such a huge benefit, because
Yes, it
I remember doing my book launch and book signing events all of last year, and it could be exhausting. But if you team up with a
With
group of
others.
women, it
Yes.
can only be so much.
And it
easier.
adds a certain dimension of value add
Right.
when you have the collaborators. I'm so
Right.
glad you said that, because one of my collaborators called in to the book launch. So although the physical book was not there, that international input
Yeah.
was great. And then I had a friend who did some extempo on the day.
Wow.
So, we
Yeah.
Trini American,
Yes.
Trini flavor comes
Yes.
through, and your creativity, well,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, it's endless. Now, as we're talking about Caribbean women, how many Caribbean authors are there in this project, or are you the only Caribbean author?
Well, I'm not the only one. So far I know about 3.
Excellent.
And a brilliant woman from Turks and Caicos, another fantastic woman from U.S. Virgin Islands, and myself, the Trinidadian. I am not sure if there are any more, but I will find out when we get to Lisa's launch party.
Fantastic. And are there any men on this project?
Yes, there are.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
there-
good to have the
yes,
men in.
yes.
Yeah. And the launch party is soon?
Yes, June 20th in LA.
Yes.
and you know what Lisa's parties are like.
I
Oh
can
my
tell
gosh.
you.
The woman
Fun
is so full of energy.
to the 1000th power.
Fun. So I can't wait. I mean, I thought I was a party animal, but Lisa put me in the shade when it comes to partying. The woman knows all the moves from every
Exactly.
decade, and then she just keeps going like the Energizer Bunny. And I'm like sweating, like, oh, I can't, and including her little soca act and stuff.
Yes.
Right? I
I
remember I was up
remember
on the stage.
at that conference, as you said it, I think it was Kes. Hello was
Yeah.
the end
Right, hello,
tune.
yes, that's the one you were.
And I made sure and gave it to the DJ.
Yes, I remember that.
Now that's another element of the extra special oomph
Yes.
that we have
Yes.
and benefit from in the Caribbean.
Yes.
So you bring that flavor and you
And
bring it
she
so well,
received it,
Anne-Marie.
and she loved it.
Yes.
She loved it. Yes.
And that's the other thing. She celebrates all of the special elements of each. Of her community members.
Yes,
Because
she
you
does.
really become part of the family as
Yes.
you have.
Absolutely.
So, what important message, Anne-Marie, would you like to say to the audience as we are going on with our conversation merrily? What message can you bring to the folks?
Caron, my message is always about self-love. You know that. I am a self-love ambassador, and my message is always to tell people to choose self-love. Choose self-love first, because self-love is the foundation by which you're connected to your heart, your body, your mind, and your soul, right? And I have a saying that everything begins and ends with self-love. So if you're thinking of building, whatever it is you're building or you're creating or you're doing, if if you don't have that foundation, it's just like a house. If you don't have a solid foundation that would support all the magnificent rooms and the columns and the balconies and
the
you know
decor and everything
all of that,
else.
you're going to be in trouble. It's going to come crashing down. And that's the same thing that I say with this work.
Yeah.
Choose self-love, and a lot of us are doing a lot. Caron, you know, a lot of us are doing magnificent things. We're doing a lot and accomplishing a lot and reaching milestones, right? But without that foundation, it would not be sustainable. Number one, and a lot of people are finding that they're wondering what's the purpose of all of this, because they're not feeling the joy and that soul fulfillment that comes with building that foundation of self-love. So that's always my message to everyone. Yeah.
And so important, Anne-Marie, you've hit the nail on the head there. If we are unable to facilitate that self-validation, then the enemy within will always win. You don't need help from the external. Energy vampires, the naysayers, and so on.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So how do you bring people into that space of loving oneself? Give us an example of an approach that you might take.
Well, I think people need to understand that there are things beneath the subconscious that they don't know about. And that's the hardest part for me, because most people think, I love myself. So what are you telling me about self-love?
Correct.
Right? But they don't understand what it really means to love yourself, what building a foundation of self-love really entails, right? They don't understand the impact that those things that get in the way of loving yourself is what causes people to not succeed and all of that. So I think practical understanding of self-love and what it takes to really love yourself is what people need to. They need to understand that. Be curious enough to say, there are things that I don't know. You know, it's hard to get people to. I was talking to one of my clients just this past week, and she did the assessment, and one of her top personality was a good girl. And I gave her the full description of the good girl and all of that. And you know what she said when I was finished? She said, I think 95% of what you are telling me, I don't agree with. Right? And I said, okay, that's fine. And she said, because you know, that good girl thing, no, I don't let people walk all over me and this and that. And she went on and on. And then she was, let me give you an example, right? And she said, there's this guy that works, a person who works with her, and he's a really nice guy and everything, but people tend to walk all over him, and he was having some issue with the manager, and she gave him advice that he should write a letter, and he should do this, and he should do that. And I came the second day, and I asked him, did he write the letter? He said no. I came the third day, and I asked him, did you? And I called him, and I did that, and then she's going on to tell me, I was getting so angry and frustrated because every time I asked him if he wrote the letter, he said no. And she went on, and then I smiled, and when she was finished, I said, you just described a good girl, right? I said, what made you feel that you had to give up your time, become frustrated, become angry, and do all that you did
to champion
to
his
get
cause?
Him to do something he was clearly showing you he didn't want to do.
Correct.
Right? And she just smiled. She rubbed her and she smiled. I said, thank you. You just.
And then she head first into embracing that coaching on self-love, right?
Yes.
Tell us, Anne-Marie, how do we engage with you to sign on to explore our own aspects of embracing self-love?
Right. So once you have the willingness and the curiosity, because I don't coach anybody. I do a consultation to see if you're ready to receive this, because a lot of people are not ready, but they're like, yes, I want this, I want. they want transformation, but they're not ready to do the work. So after that consultation, when I realized that somebody is at that point where they're like, I cannot survive without this.
Yeah.
I can't go any further. I'm putting a full stop, right? So then I do the assessment with them where they identify their top personalities. And once they identify those top personalities, then we get to work on discovering every single thing they need to know about these personalities, how it impacts their life, how it causes self-sabotage, self-bullying, what triggers it, what big fat lies and storylines does it force you to do, and what are the toxic habits that it forces you. And then we talk about what is costing you. What is costing you, because there is a payoff
Of course.
for having these personalities and being, there's a big payoff for it. And some people are more addicted to the payoff than to getting rid of it, because not get rid of the personality, but to take back the control, because taking back the control means that you have to do the work.
Correct.
Right? And you also have to go into the unknown. And some people would rather deal with the pain and suffering that they know
Of the known, yes.
than to go into the unknown to get rid of pain and suffering.
Yes, to unearth additional monsters
Right.
that they feel they might not be equipped to handle.
Exactly. So, I tell people you have to become conscious about your unconscious patterns and programs that is causing self-sabotage, is causing self-bullying, is causing all these things that we do to ourselves that shows that we are practicing the lack of self-love.
Yeah.
Right? Self-love is a practice, it's a state of being, and it's a choice. Right? So we go through all of those, we break it down in terms of what it really is. And as people go from one session to the next, they're realizing, and there's a lot of stuff under there. Stuff that since they were 3 or 4 or 5 years old, once they start unraveling these things and seeing the impact that it's had on their life, they're more eager to go on. But I have some clients who just can't go into the next stage. They're not ready.
They can't make the sacrifice for their own benefit.
Yeah, and they're just not ready. And it's okay too. It's okay, because some people, everybody's trauma is different. Everybody's shadows are different, you know? So I tell people that if you're not ready, it's okay. The thing is, you have the awareness, and there will come a time where you are going to realize that you can't heal if you're not willing to go there, right? So I let people be comfortable with wherever they are, you know? So yeah.
And at least now we know that we have access to an internationally renowned self-love coach right here in the region, and of course internationally.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I remember meeting your beautiful friend, I'm trying to remember her name now, tall, brown-skinned lady, long, beautiful locks. We walked together on the beach in the closing ceremony.
Darlene? Oh, the lady from
the US.
Bahamas.
Oh, she was from the Bahamas.
Yes.
There you
Charmaine.
go. Charmaine, that's the one. So, friends, don't be concerned about distance.
Right.
COVID taught us that distance really is a figment of our imagination.
Exactly.
Things can be done virtually, but of course the physical. This place here, Las Cuevas, is absolutely a gem and must be seen. So the physical is required.
Anne-Marie's Impact is filmed at the Cheryl's Grace Enrichment Center in Las Cuevas, which includes an event space and the cozy Cheryl's Grace Terralark lodging. Find us on airbnb.com.
Yes.
So Anne-Marie, can you imagine, we've been sitting here for a bit and we're almost to the end of the interview. I feel I could talk to you for hours.
No, it seems like we just started.
Exactly. So now, well, we Trinbagonians, we love a good fete.
Yes.
So let's create this situation. So you are organizing a literary dinner party.
Woohoo!
Yummy. Which 3 writers, dead or alive,
Yeah.
would you invite?
Oh my God. Talk about putting me on the spot. I know, I mean, if it's right as of today, I can give you a whole list, but okay, let's see. Let's give it a try, right?
Yes.
So I would start with, I'm going to do like chronology. I think Zora Neale Hurston, which is an American author, from back in the she was born she was actually born in the 1800s, but she died in, I think, 1967. But her work is so amazing because she was a trailblazer for empowering women, especially black women.
Yes.
And to think of someone doing literary work during that time and having to deal with all that she had to deal with in terms of people trying to shut her down. You know, I can just imagine I have to have her at the dinner table so that I can ask her certain questions about that. You know, her strength and resilience, since we're talking about strength and resilience,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
So that would be one. I think Danielle Steele was one of my favorite authors. I used to rush to buy her books of romance. So if I have her at the dinner table, I would ask her what addictive potions she used to use that would have everybody running to buy her books like that, you know? And then I would think of someone who's alive today. I just recently, last year, I read, I've been reading James McBride's. He is one of my favorite authors because of the way his way of describing something is, he has this innate ability to describe something in such a peculiar, you know, and I don't even know what word to say, but in a way that
brings life to the words.
It makes you stop and read it again, you know, and say, what was his mind thinking that he could come up with a description like this? You know, it's like the most not so ordinary way of describing, in a way that you just haven't seen. So I love that about him, and I try doing that in my writing, but you have to just be born with that kind of ability that he has. So I can only kind of try to fashion it, but yeah. So he would be at my dinner table. He would be. I would probably ask him to give me some. Hey, describe this stuff for me. Hey, and describe this book here for me. Right?
How would you, put across?
I'm writing my 4th or 5th book. Can you describe this? I just describe. Yeah.
It's fabulous. And you know, another thing that I'd like to say about this space, it lends itself so much to just living in your creative space, you know, unencumbered, with reducing the barriers and the interference and the interruption, you know? So we can go on and on about it, but all good things must come to an end.
I always feel so filled with gratitude for this space and what I've accomplished here, because not just the space, but to put myself in the space of manifestations, because it's what you get when you choose yourself. And I have been choosing me with all of this, whereas I don't have to go and ask someone to use their space and pay $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. I have a space. I don't have to go and ask someone to be on their TV show for 5 minutes or whatever.
Yes.
And I can have this.
A song bite, you know?
Right.
And then they crop it and cut it, and you can't even recognize your words,
yes,
you know?
They control everything.
I'm right there with you, sister.
Yeah, so many of the different things that I do, I see where choosing me. And you know, it's not easy going through, getting the calling and being obedient to it, and going through all the challenges that comes with it and all of that. But it's so worth it in the end, because at the end of the day, I am in control of my life.
So right there, let me get in, and you know, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of this interview, but it would be remiss of me not to ask Anne-Marie about what's in the pipeline for you. What is out there that you are looking forward to in the upcoming year?
Well, Karen, I don't know about the upcoming year, but I can tell you in the next 3 months. Again, the reason why
Start right there.
I don't set goals anymore for that long, because I feel like I'm in the flow of the magic of the universe now, and my inner wisdom usually tells me what to do next.
Yes.
And so I don't set goals and anticipate and all of that. I just go with okay, this is what you're going to do next. But so the next 3 months of Rise Up celebrations, I'm going to use the next 3 to 4 months as a way to just really celebrate myself, give myself a pat on the back, sit back and really realize all that I've accomplished, and take a breather right here, but not a real breather. I will be traveling a lot for doing book signings with other people. I would be, of course, Lisa's party on June 20th. I'm looking forward to that. It's in LA. I'm going to that. And then the big gala that's coming up in September, where all of the authors are going to be there. We really get to share that time with each other and get to know each other. And it's a black tie event, and it's in Beverly Hills. And yeah, it's like a red carpet. It's a red carpet event. So I'm looking for, I love my fashion.
Absolutely.
So I am thinking of coming up with all kinds of things that I'm going to wear for that. So that's the excitement about that. So that's basically where it is for me right now. And then within that time, when September comes, the universe is going to talk to me again.
And as we said at the beginning, you are in that space of obedience.
Yes. Yes.
So we know you're going to follow that inner voice and celebrate your self-love.
Yes.
So I want to thank you, Anne-Marie. You have been tremendous with your time, your space, and facilitating this necessary conversation about self-love and how you have been benefiting from choosing yourself first. And I am just honored and humbled to be called friend, to be with you on certain elements of the journey. And trust me, you share so willingly. It is such a lovely experience to be on that receiving side.
Oh my gosh.
On behalf of so many, I just want to say thank you.
And I just want to return all of that back to you, my sister, because I couldn't think of anyone else that I would rather be sitting here talking about this than with you, because we have so much in common and we have supported each other so much over the years. And you are so genuine, authentic, and giving of yourself just the same way. So I thank you for being here.
We're twinning.
To do this, yes.
So we know that we are going to be living through the experiences.
Yes.
The optics will help us to be there with you vicariously. We will enjoy your black tie and the signings and all the different things.
Yes.
And the best-selling title, which will be conveyed onto you. We know we'll be right there celebrating with you. And guys, we need to support the effort to make sure that it hits the bestseller and maintain the streak that you have going.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Caron, before we go, I just really want to share with the audience about your book, Resilient Women. And maybe you can tell the audience where they can find this, information about you.
Yes. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Anne-Marie. So, of course, Resilient Woman, Reflecting on the Past to Empower the Future, is about self-empowerment. It's for women to come into their own space and choose themselves, say yes. It's a step-by-step journey in Chapter 2, as I said, co-authored, so I'm Chapter 2, on goal setting, with an emphasis on financial independence and freedom. It's part of what Anne-Marie shared with self-love. Off camera, we were talking about it. So that's the main element, and I give you some step-by-steps. We have a community where you have like-minded women creating their cash pot, and you can be party to that. So you can reach me on the web, www.caronjgraves.com, and we'll be able to connect there. And also my WhatsApp number, 1-868-682-2766. And if you can't get me there, of course you can reach me through Anne-Marie. Right? It's available at Nicholas Towers and also at Radisson Hotel in Port of Spain.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes.
You're quite welcome, of course. I'd be remiss if I didn't let you expand on who you are and what you're about.
Greatly appreciated. So any final word just before we wrap for today's edition?
I just want to say how I feel about this whole thing that's unfolding right here. I feel surreal. I feel like, oh my gosh, where did all this come from? You know, to think that just 4 years ago, I didn't know myself as in the capacity of a best-selling author, and now here I am.
3 times over.
And not only that, you know, just working on my 4th book with Lisa Nichols, and actually working on the 5th one while I'm doing this, you know, so that is so surreal.
Yes.
So surreal. So I am excited, I am honored, I am thrilled to be in that community. I am grateful, I'm filled with gratitude, and I am filled with fulfillment.
Yes.
So that's my final word.
It's a pleasure. Blessings.
Thank you, my sister. Blessings.
Thank you.